This is my case study for the parental apathy case. Well, the first question asked, what do we know about this case? I would say that the first thing that we know is that the principal has a negative attitude towards parental involvement. It seems like every time parents tried to get involved, he always had an excuse as to uh, why something could not happen. The second thing that we know is that the parent announcement for the meeting that only brought in 8 parents was very lackluster. It wasn't inviting. It didn't, carry like a message that it was something that was going to be interesting and fun and important. And thirdly, historically, it seems that the parents in this school have a very limited sense of cohesion. So it seems like in the past, the parents don't feel connected to the school and they don't feel like they have a very good working relationship with this school. I feel like there are several things that we need to know about this case. The first one is we really need to get to the bottom of why the principal has such a negative attitude towards this community. It doesn't really say why, but we don't know if he has a bad work ethic or if he just has a negative attitude towards this clientele or if it's something else. It's just something that we really don't know. The second thing that we need to know is what type of community attends this school. Is it a working class community? Is it an affluent community? Is it a community with many low SES students? That's just something that we don't know. And the third thing that we need to know is the school's demographics. It would be nice to know the socioeconomic status, the racial status, all of that sort of thing would be good to know about this school. When identifying this problem, I would say that the main problem is that parents don't feel connected to the school and that any attempt to form a working relationship has with the parents and the school has been rebutted. I have determined a list of steps that would help to resolve this problem. The first step I would do is to assess parental attitudes to find the needs of the parents in the community. Assessing them will be covered in the following slide when I talk about strategies. The second thing I would do to resolve this problem is to use more enticing methods to organize meetings and parental functions. I think it's important to make it sound like it's something that's interesting or fun for the parent to do. And the third thing I would do is to begin to have parent nights that will help to bridge the gap between the parents and the school. When talking about strategies to implement this plan, I talked about assessing the parents, and in order to do that, I think it's important to administer a parental survey, and that will help to evaluate the attitudes about the school as well as try to find out what the needs of the parents are and the needs of the community. The second strategy that I would use is to use effective communication to entice parental involvement. I would not just send out a simple letter that says show up if you can. I would do things like create banners that were widely advertised and used. I would use emails. I would send letters home that were interesting. I would really try to make several attempts to contact parents instead of just one short little note that said show up if you can. The third thing that I would do is to use data from the survey to organize fun and interesting parent night activities. I know that at our school we use those kinds of things all the time in the beginning of the school year and throughout the semester to try to get parents involved and at the school so that they can see what we're doing, and we also try to do things that'll make it fun, like have hot dog feeds or something like that that will make the parents see that it's a fun and interesting place to be. The next two slides talk about what is best for students, and I believe it's best for students when parents can support the school and also see the value that of the role that the school play in the lives of their children. If they can see that connection and find ways to support it, obviously that is going to be what is best for students. Also, it's best for students when parents can feel that they're connected to the school environment, when they feel like the school has an open door and parents are welcome to come in and feel like they have a connection to the school. That will be the best for students. It's also best for students to have a plan in place and then also to make continued efforts to build the connections that are facilitated. Just being consistent in having something is key, because then students know that they can expect it. So for example, if there's going to be an open house the first week of school, that should be done every year, not just one time, 1 year, and then maybe a couple of years later. It should be something that the students, or the parents rather, know that they can come to, and it will be there every year. Also, it's best for students that communication between parents and schools is open and transparent, so that they feel like they can come and bring their concerns to the table and have their questions answered. I think that's just important, because students will, they'll just perform better in school, and the families will feel more connected. Okay, quite obviously I had lots of different feelings and attitudes about this case as I was working through it. The first thing that I thought of was just disappointment and frustration with the principal's attitude towards the community. You wonder where it comes from, but more importantly, it just seems like the principal should just do his best all the time, even if he has a bias against that particular community or he's frustrated with his job. So I think that disappointment and frustration falls on him. Also, I had a strong desire to communicate the importance of parent and school connections. They're more important than I can even say. And when a parent feels connected to the school, that lays the foundation for all of learning to take place. And then thirdly, I had compassion for the community who can't really seem to find their place within the school. It seems like they don't know where they fit, and they don't know how to connect to the school. Okay, so talking about unresolved issues, obviously the current principal that has a negative attitude towards the family he serves, it's hard to say if that negative attitude is going to change or if it's just going to remain persistent. The second unresolved issue is that the connections that will be made through a plan to connect with families, they're going to need maintenance. They're going to need more time, more money, more effort to facilitate an actual change. And then thirdly, the new plan for connections may be a complete failure, and you might still have low parental turnout, and parents still might feel frustrated with the school and that sort of thing. So then that would result in further investigation and just more working towards finding out what the real needs are and how to get the parents into the school. So my plan for getting parents more involved is first of all to have collaborative efforts, and that collaborative efforts would be seen by organizing a parental survey and also working with parents and the community to organize activities such as a family fun night. Meeting the diverse community needs. Through assessment, the school can evaluate the perceived needs and address them as needed, depending on what this particular community would need. And then also, it would be important to adjust the programs and services to service the community as needed. And this is just really a difficult question to answer, because we don't know what the diverse community needs are in this special case. Obviously, once you know what those are, you would be able to access the appropriate programs and the appropriate services that would help this system. Mobilizing community resources would take place through, parent nights where parents would, come on to the campus and you obviously would utilize several resources throughout the community in order to make that happen. And then, or even if it's not, even if it's something obviously on a weekend or during a day or something like that, then obviously you would be using community resources for that too. And then addressing specific needs would require specific community resources which would cater to that population. So if there's just a specific population that you're working with at that time, you would access that community resource that would help them and be important to them.